Welcome back to another episode of now the new called Sunday Sports Shift. Of course, it has now moved to Sundays. This podcast for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. We're coming off post Atlanta, and of course that was all the action we had in Atlanta. Also Lanier for iCar. We had lobbies on Friday. It was a packed week. There was a day of racing every single day, including Monday because they had iCar had their non-broadcasted late model race at Lanier. So it was one heck of a week here, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit. So, Brody Webster, our podcast co host, was joining us in a little bit. He's just being a very large person, and he's eating food right now, so he's currently not able to come. But we will have a special guest that we'll announce a little bit later, and then some other things to talk about. So, of course, let's get straight into this week that happened at Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, of course, on Monday we had the iCar Late Model Series race. On Tuesday, the Pro Series. How about Gary Smith winning both races at Lanier, which is a track that's about an hour away from Georgia, or hour away from Atlanta, I should say, about right across the street actually from Road Atlanta. So that is where that is in relation to what I'm talking about. So Gary Smith won both the Lanier races, got the lead late in the iCar Pro Series race, and got a really good finish in the late model race as well. So that was pretty insane. And then of course we went to the Grand National Series on Wednesday. Only one caution in that Grand National Series race. It was a pretty good one. There was a lot of action going on. Cars were very pretty sideways and loose. Tire wear was a huge factor. A lot of pit strategy happened, and ultimately at the end we had a fifth Cup Series regular win in Grand National in a row. They haven't lost a single race this season, and they've also had five different winners in the Grand National Series this season. Five straight new winners, five straight Cup drivers doing it as well. Usually pretty unprecedented in the Grand National Series, but this season it looks like it's just kind of what's been going on lately. So, of course, that was the Grand National Series race that we had on Wednesday. Now we're going to bring on our special guest for this week. It is actually Landon Johnson. Of course, he was in both the Cup Series and Grand National Series races this week. It's been with me in the booth pretty much all week as well. Landon, it was a pretty insane race for the Cup Series side, but we'll talk about Grand National first. Pretty straightforward one, only one caution. Like, what was your favorite part about that race?
Probably going through the field, getting up to like P13. Then we had some sucky pit strategy. Got to hire a crew chief, and we ended up like 21st. Like long green flag runs. Got to save some tires. Always good.
Anyways, can you explain to us, to everyone here watching, what it's like compared to New Atlanta? Obviously, very different.
Well, I mean, old Atlanta, you are not in a draft. You are spread apart. You're saving tires. For New Atlanta, you're all bunched together, and you're just going as hard as you can, mostly, unless you guys save fuel.
Yeah, so of course, that was of course all about the Grand National Series race there. And we're gonna finally bring in our podcast co-host. He has finally completed eating. Brody Webster, welcome to the booth. A little bit late here. How's it going?
Great. We just ate. After a rough week, we had to eat a lot of food to make ourselves feel better. So that's why it took so long.
All right, Brody Webster. So you, of course, were in the Grand National race as always. It wasn't a very good one from what I looked at. You guys ran like 20th all day long with the longer green flag runs, especially that almost 80 lap long green flag run to the end of the race. So, what was kind of your main struggle?
Well, so the reason, like, I mean, I'm normally decent at tire saving, but where it was Atlanta, a track I wasn't used to, and like, along with other people just battling in the back for like absolutely no reason, like battling hard. I mean, there's nothing wrong with battling a little bit, but there would be people battling way too hard and like making everybody waste up their tires in the back. So I think that's why they're kind of created like two different packs, like where there was the front and the back, because people were using up their tires a lot more. Now, I will say, like, I still was decent at tire saving because I ended up finishing in 14th when I was running in like 18th to 20th, like the whole race. So, I mean, obviously, with that green flag run, I still gained spots, but still wish people didn't battle as hard for like positions that don't really matter that much. But, It's Grand National. That's how it's gonna be when you're in the back. So, and not too surprising actually.
All right, Brody. Do you have any questions for our special guest this week? We will have another special guest joining us for the Cup Series segment coming up later. Any questions for Landon?
Well, Landon was one of the people I was battling, but that's why I didn't like had to like rephrase what I said because Landon and me actually had like a good battle where we weren't like using up our tires and we were actually just like just kind of going back and forth every lap. But like they're like he's a very good racer, man. Very clean. Nothing much other than that to say. He's my goat.
Thank you.
All right, I think. Of course, that was the Grand National Series race that we had on Wednesday. Sun was out, sun was shining. After that race, Christian Urquhart actually ends up for the first time all year knocking Ethan McMillan off the points lead, and he will now take the lead of the points. McMillan falls to second, Knox Thompson third in points. Cherry moves up to fourth. Cole Clausen drops a few to fifth place. Brody Webster, you're still in sixth in points somehow. I don't really know how that's possible.
Okay, well that's because there's not that many Grand National drivers. It's literally half the field is Cup drivers, Ethan. You
Well,
already
I
know
mean,
that.
you're beating Cole Wilson, and you're also beating Jacob Malone.
Okay, well Jacob Malone was in the Cup Series for 2 weeks, and Cole Wilson was banned from his computer for a week.
I guess so, but Cole Wilson, remember that? Of course, after coming back from his suspension, he was spanked and he had bad grades as always. At the end, before Sonoma, he wasn't able to race there. He comes back to Atlanta on wow, comes back to Atlanta on Wednesday, and ends up having an okay race early on, but ends up speeding on pit road like. Brody Webster, unbelievable actions by Cole Wilson. You cannot make
No,
that mistake.
okay,
Your fourth season
okay,
in Grand National.
yeah, 4 seasons in Grand National. Justin Allgaier, boy. Um, so yeah, actually, it wasn't a speeding penalty, but it was like an what's it called? Like when you don't enter the pit lanes like inside the cone.
And that's even worse.
Yeah, so that's what happened. Actually, it wasn't a speeding
That's,
penalty.
that's even worse. Unbelievable actions for your defending series
Yeah,
champion, Cole Wilson.
yeah. Cole Wilson wins championships and then can't even enter a pit lane, right? Like at least Brody Webster can enter a pit lane, right?
I don't think you've ever had an issue like that on pit road.
Yeah, no, I would never. My pit crew is always the best. Best in the business. Uh, Especially we're even gonna get a better pit crew that we've left CWR. That's a big announcement. We're joining Fat and Friends United.
Wow, unbelievably incredible moment there. Finally becoming an owner-driver for your actual team instead of racing
Eh,
for Cameron Fat Chandler.
yep. And we have also signed TJ Moon, E Wood, and Ethan Trendler.
No, nice try. No, I don't race for anyone but myself. So, yeah.
Nice try.
Anyways, we're going to move on to the Cup Series segment. Of course, the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series had their first ever race at Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway, just like Grand National did. We had a Truck Series race here back a few seasons ago, but that was just about it for Legacy Atlanta for points races.
And I can hear your dryer washer going off, you
Oh.
fruit. Keep that in.
What did I get myself signed up for?
Oh, it's normally not this like goofy, but I guess we're being goofy this week. It's
All
because
right.
it's the first Sunday, that's why.
Yeah. So, of course, moving on to the Cup Series segment, the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, race number 5 of the season at Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. First half went I don't even know how to call it. There's a bunch of green flag running. Cameron Chandler ended up leading the most laps. He won the stage. Really good stage points for him. He, of course, entered as your points leader. Finished 11th at Sonoma, so needed a bit of a bounce back day. First finish, I believe, this season that was out of the top 10. So finished finished first in the stage. Won the stage, of course. But then the second half got a little bit crazy. We saw some cars right before the stage. There was a caution right before the stage, maybe like 10 laps. They pitted. And then some of them ended up staying out after everybody else pitted at the stage break. So it was Carlos Ortiz, Payson Lindsay, one of them. Another one, I think, was Sean Hilquich. So that kind of mixed up the field a little bit. And Cameron Chandler never really found the front of the field at the end, after all of that happened. So, Brody Webster, was that really kind of surprising that the dominant car for the first half never found the front again?
I'd say it's a little bit, but at the same time, things can change and people can like start because the first half, at least with my experience, like I've seen that people will go a lot easier and not push the car as much. Where, especially in the Gen 4, I think there's some unconfident people in it. But where once they like get going on a track for like a good bit of the race, then they'll start actually pushing. And I'm not saying like Cameron Chandler was like slow or anything, but I'm just saying like people could have been more aggressive and just like pushing the tires a little bit more, which is what we learned about that race is like pushing the tires at the beginning kind of works better.
Yeah, so of course, you saw Ty Herrera be a big factor. Like 20 laps into the run, these cars were sideways. People were slipping and sliding around. That's just a big characteristic, though, of Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. So into the second half, there were still a lot of green flag running. We had maybe a couple of cautions here and there. Most of the cautions happened like outside of the top 20 and 25, which is unfortunate. That's what we kind of have to clean up here in the Cup Series pretty soon. So of course, ended up I think Sean Rowe was leading with about like 20 or so, 15 laps to go. And then when we all thought it was maybe done, maybe gonna cruise to the checkered flag, of course, as always this season, when we're under a long green flag run to the end of the race, the caution has to come out, of course. I mean, it's just the story of the season, which is really, really unfortunate. We've had some fantastic racing all year long, and just always, for some reason, they got a wreck for 30th, and we have to have a caution come out. And so that racked him up again, and then Payson Lindsay. I don't know what he was doing, to be honest. Completely wrecks himself across Sean Rosno after he took two tires on the pit stop there and absolutely destroyed his race car. Flipped in the air, upside down he went, and Sean Rowe was absolutely destroyed as well. Unfortunate for those two, both out of the race. Sean Rowe, I think, finished 27th. Payson maybe finished 28th. Awful, awful finishes for those two after Sean Rowe was en route to win the race until Payson Lindsay absolutely cleaned him out. So that's very, very unfortunate for Sean Rowe. He
Okay.
probably would have even been able to take the points lead as well.
Okay, Ethan. See, I have actually gotten a report from multiple sources. So Payson Lindsay, yes, obviously he had a skill issue and kind of lost the car like a little bit, was about to spin it and like kind of overcorrected a little bit into him. But actually there was multiple people that did it on restarts. Just there was not someone to their outside. So at the end of the day, someone like Sean Rowe maybe should have picked like, and I'm not saying like again, it's definitely not his fault, but I'm just saying someone like Sean Rowe, with a good bit of experience, should have seen that like people were doing that on the starts, and maybe could have like not made the move to the outside and been a little smarter. But still, at the end of the day, he was going for position, going for that first place, and I mean it makes sense. But still, like both them ended up crashing out because of it. Where if he sits back a little bit, even though like it sounds bad, it could have been avoided. Where Payson could have just like overcorrected a little bit and like probably just would have went up the track, and Sean Rose still would have gotten the first place from him after he like skill issued. But yeah, multiple people did it that race that I had seen. All my Adam Schefter sources let me know that.
Yeah, of course. And after that, Bryce Benson ended up squeezing on by to take the lead with about under 10 laps to go. And it got chaotic there at the end with some other cautions, unfortunately, coming out after such a long green flag run to propose, which we thought was going to finish it. But Bryce Benson, of course, who won Sonoma the week before, also won the Grand National race the night before, and won the Daytona 500 earlier this season, has been the winningest driver in the league. Was in a prime position to win yet another race, and we're gonna bring him in here, another podcast guest for tonight. So Bryce, you maybe want to explain how those final few laps went for you guys?
Yeah. Um, First of all, cut me some slack because I literally just got up like 15 minutes ago. But yeah, it was definitely kind of wild. I mean, it was wild seeing them like wreck right in front of me with Rowe and Payson as you guys were just talking about. And yeah, I think um it was definitely just kind of wild. I mean, I think the cautions I don't The cautions were interesting. I forgot even how much we got with like 15 laps to go, but we got like a solid amount at the end. And I think without the last caution, I probably had it locked up, so it was a little frustrating when we got that last caution that brought us to overtime, but was still able to hold on and get the win. So it was definitely a little bit stressful for sure.
Yeah, so of course, two straight wins here tonight. Third win of the season after what, like 2.5 seasons? If you go even back to season two, three straight seasons of it. It seemed like really nothing was going right for you guys for the wins. You guys always had speed, but always something would go wrong at the end of the race. All of a sudden, it's the complete opposite, where you guys are now in position to win these races, and you actually take advantage of that. What has that been? What has that change been like all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's definitely a big change. I mean, yeah, last season, I feel like I was getting horrible luck, and now I'm just getting like really good luck. So it's definitely kind of interesting. I think a lot of my wins this year have been kind of lucky. I mean, I've just been in the right place at the right time. Not to say that I wasn't fast, but I don't think like last night. I don't think I really should have won it. Probably Sean Rowe or maybe a Cameron Chandler should have won it. But I still think I was fast, and I mean I was up there, and sometimes you just gotta be up there to um, take advantage on others' mistakes.
All right, Brody, you have any questions for our guest Bryce Benton?
Uh, you know what? Sure. So Bryce, you know, the crazy thing is like, and you kind of mentioned it, like your luck going from last season into this season, it's just crazy. It's pretty much polar opposite. Like you were very unlucky last season, I would say, and now this season, I mean, I don't like. I'm not saying like you're bad, so that's how you won the like races was just because of luck. Like you obviously have speed, but like now just like kind of backing into wins, like how does that feel to like kind of have that luck side on your side this season?
Yeah, it's really nice. I completely agree with you. You said like with luck. I think it's definitely it's definitely nice to have the luck. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think I had the fastest car at, like Atlanta. Probably not even at Sonoma. Probably shouldn't have even won any of the Sonoma races to be honest. But yeah, it's definitely pretty nice. I mean. Yeah, I think it's pretty nice, and glad the luck has kind of like turned around because it was really frustrating last season, where kept getting so close, and yeah, it's definitely pretty nice to have the luck on my side now.
Yeah, so anyways, of course, Bryce, like we said, big congratulations on another win. You guys, let me check real quick. You definitely moved up in the points. You moved up into second place in the points behind Cameron Chandler, your teammates. It's DCMC 1-2. Sean Rowe, that bad finish that he had, moved down to third. So only now 10 points behind the leader in the points, Cameron Chandler. So, of course, congrats on another win. You're looking for your fourth win of the season already at a race you nearly won last season at Nashville, finishing second here. Unfortunately, losing the lead late. So, of course, good luck there next week at Nashville. And thank you for joining this episode of the Sunday Sports Shift.
Yep, no problem. And also thank you. Yeah.
Of course. Anyways, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about lobbies a little bit real quick. Of course, that was last night. Landon Johnson, you were, of course, in the booth with me all night long. You didn't really understand what was going on in the Rolex 24. The Kentucky race, we got to talk about that unbelievable finish between Pace and Lindsay and some random. He ran the random out of the way. Then he ended up getting dumped at the front straightaway. Payson got right hooked. Like, Landon, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, you see, it was probably a good finish, but we would have liked to have been up there. But we waited till the last second to pit, and we came back on the track like 14th, and we made it back up to ninth with no caution. But Pace and Lindsay, I mean, Bro's done some crazy stuff in the league, so I'm not really surprised he got right hooked.
Ethan, you know what it reminded me of?
What?
If you don't like that kind of racing, just don't even watch.
Huh?
I mean, he kind
Oh.
of shuffled him a little bit, and then when he killed him and won.
I mean, he was, yeah, I mean, it's lobbies. There's not really going to be any penalties taken or whatever for that. So that was really
Yeah, I
funny.
say we ban Jason Lindsay for 10 years.
Do it.
Yeah. He's only gotten like 5 suspensions before, but anyways, then we had not the main event actually. The Rolex 24 was technically the main event. The final race of the night was the COTs at Talladega. Unbelievable race that was, and you were in the mix there late. Carlos Ortiz ended up winning that one. There were cars flying through the air all night long. Pretty much expected at over 235 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was pretty scary, you know. I was never in a wreck. I just avoided all of them. I feel like every wreck was right around me. So I had to channel like my inner like cold trickle.
Cold trickle.
Yeah, so of course it was a very fun night of lobbies as it always is. We might have lobbies next week coming for week number 39 as well, so keep tuned for that. Of course, it would be next Friday. So that was, of course, all about Atlanta. Coming up next week from Nashville Superspeedway is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, race 6 of the season. We're back in Nashville. This season is pretty early for Nashville. Only, of course, race number 6. Usually it's closer to when the playoffs are going to be starting, maybe like midway through, I guess, our summer. Of course, that is Nashville Superspeedway. First time with the Gen 4 car. We had the Gen 6 car there last season, of course, the only Gen 6 race we've ever had in the Cup Series. And then, of course, the prior 3 seasons, I should say, were with the next Gen car. So it's the 5th race at Nashville. And, of course, it is with the first ever time with this Gen 4 car. Might be under the lights. I'm not exactly sure yet. We didn't actually confirm that. We're going to have to check what what's happening there. I believe it's supposed to be under the lights. I'll just double check.
Actually, Ethan, I mean, it's probably too late to talk about another thing, but did you see the suggestion channel getting angry about the Gen 4 car?
Yeah, I don't really know why, because it won the vote. I mean, if people can't drive the race car, let's be honest, like, you got to learn how to drive it before complaining like that.
It's a great point, man. That's a great point.
Yeah, of course. That is all about Nashville. There's no Grand National race next week. They have the week off, so nothing on Wednesday whatsoever.
Yeah. I can't do anything but goon.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
I think it's a good time to close off the podcast.
half the U.S. is going to be snowed in for Monday and Tuesday anyways, so we don't have anything Monday, so just enjoy the day off, enjoy the snow. I know I won't. And Tuesday is the iCar Pro Series from Nashville Fairgrounds, and then, of course, like I said, on Friday we might have lobby, so an off day on Wednesday makes it a little bit weird. I was going to put something there, but there's nothing I can really do, so that'll be it. Trucks. The trucks.
I'll make a truck
race
race.
is at Rockingham.
Okay, we'll make another one at, like, Dover.
No, Dover.
I don't know.
Nice
I'm just
try.
throwing a random track out there.
Good
Hey, how
attempt.
about Atlanta Superspeedway?
No, we just went to Atlanta. Why would... yeah, they just rebuilt Atlanta. All right.
Yes, they repaved it right after we were done.
Yeah, that's just a
Yes.
crime. I don't know who would do that. But yeah, of course, that was all about Atlanta. Of course, very wild week, and then moving on to Nashville next week. There's obviously going to be less racing going on, but the Cup Series could put on a good show on Thursday night. I'm definitely interested to see how this Gen 4 car does at Nashville Superspeedway. The next Gen was good here, so was the Gen 6 car. Hopefully we have another great race with the Gen 4 car. So kind of weird that we've had 3 different cars now already after Thursday race at Nashville Superspeedway in the Cup Series.
Hey, should Birdie Weber race?
No. Yes, of course, that is Nashville Superspeedway. Coming up, of course, we're going to have the podcast episode next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. This one's going to be posted a little bit later than 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. It's definitely Sunday, right, guys?
Yes.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday morning here, filming this podcast. Rolex 24 is going on right this second to the end of it. So, of course, that will just about do it for this episode of the Sunday Sports Shift. Of course, enjoy all of the on-track action next week from Nashville Superspeedway, Nashville Fairgrounds, and, of course, then probably lobbies on Friday night for week number 39 as well. So, I am Ethan Trendler, and that was my co-host, Brody Webster. Thank you to our 2 special guests, Bryce Benson and Landon Johnson, joining the episode this week. And we will see you next week, post-Nashville, on the Saturday... or, no, not anymore.
Jeez
the
Louise,
Sunday
Ethan.
Sports
Come on.
Shift.